he shared a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today. So
well, that's awesome. I love it.
It's awesome. So
all right, I just hit record, so we are going. And thanks, Doug, for being here, and everybody else that's on the call this evening. I'm going to start sharing the screen. We'll get to it without any further ado. And we are right where we need to be. Let's do that. Share and slideshow begin. Let's have some fun. So third-party help. We ended last week talking about third-party stories. This is episode 6. Welcome back. The assumptions, as always, are there, so you have them to reference. Do you know your purpose? Do you have your goals set? It's always nice to check up on all this stuff. Have your accountability partner and your support system working, writing your tasks list, be super organized. And quite honestly, that's something that challenges a lot of folks. It just is something that they're not used to. So if you can get into that cycle of organization, you're really going to find that things become easier for you as time goes on.
Matt, we're going to talk about that next week.
People and having the learning and preparing on a daily basis. Thanks for all being here. And then, of course, taking the action that needs to be taken. So moving on. We always talk about that, it's a blend of art and science, the 4 steps. Today, we're going to be focusing on what really is the solution and call to action. It's how to get someone to the close by using a third party. So selling through a third party story, moving right along. Joel, if you want to step in here in a second. Last week, we talked about using stories. Now we're going to talk about using a team member.
Yeah, not always. Obviously, we have a team member available, and we talked last week about the powerful use of third parties and how they can really help your presentation when you don't have a third party available, right? And help you connect with that customer or prospect. So today we want to focus on how to use a team member. We call it a team member, this third party, because it can be anybody in your organization. It doesn't have to be your upline or downline, somebody that sponsor you or somebody that you sponsor. It could be anybody that is related in the group and are willing to help each other. And we're going to talk about today about the purpose. Next, Matt, we're going to talk about who you should be choosing and how to select that person. And we're going to talk about how to prepare you and the third party and the customer. You got to prepare all 3 of you, and how to transfer, how to pass the baton, how to pass that ball, how to make the assist to that third party so they can take over and continue the presentation and close.
And of course, the close. So
yeah,
let's get right to it. So, the question really becomes, why am I using a third party? And in some cases, it's very obvious. And I'm going to go through those very quickly now. So we've got ample time at the end, but sometimes someone is new to the business and they feel like they're not experienced, and so they want that crutch. They want that person there to really help them out because they're not really familiar with how to get the job done, and yet they want to be successful. You may say to yourself, well, with this particular prospect, I'm not making a good connection, and I want to be able to get the job done again, and so I'm going to get help in doing this. Getting help is not something that you should ever be ashamed of. That's just a smart choice. If you're not finding that you're building value or urgency, get someone who's more familiar with building value or urgency involved, such that that's the hurdle you can overcome. If there's some sort of inherent objection, there's a situation that in that person's life, they just don't see the benefit. They just don't feel like it's going to be worth the effort. Bring someone in to help you overcome that objection. And at that point, it's kind of a little summary of the why would I obviously need someone else to help me because I'm just simply not getting the job done. Well, there are people that feel very confident and independent, and Jason mentioned this the last time we got together, that still, even though they're fully capable, they simply follow the process to give themselves the best chance for success. So even if you feel like you have the ability to get it all done all by yourself, just remember sometimes 2 heads are better than 1. So Joel, I can't say any better than this. Teamwork is just simply part of the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the previous slide, I want to make emphasis. When you're starting in the business, you feel that you may be incompetent. I'm gonna use that word. I don't have all the tools I need, so you may feel I need a third party. But like Matt says, a lot of people start getting better and then they stop using the third party, and that's one of the biggest mistakes you can make in your business. If it worked for you when you were not fully prepared, where you didn't have the process packed down, imagine how much better we will be now that you're an expert. Now that you got better, and you can use that tool more efficiently. So as time passes by and you're getting better and you're recruiting and your business is growing, do not stop using your third parties. That is proof that the process is working. So I love that. Again, like Mike says, last week, Jason was giving an example. Even though Jason is one of the top 35 earners in the company, he still uses a third party, and he gets a three-way call, right? So very important. That third party can help you. Matt and I have worked together for years in different business and investments and running sales lines. And Matt and I have learned how to work with each other and figure out his abilities, things that he's much better than I am, and the ones that I am better than he is. And we're able to play to each other's strengths and help each other weaknesses. So if you can find somebody that complements you, you create a great team and help each other out. I mean, you're unstoppable. Next.
Absolutely. And so beyond that, it's just all about improving your odds of success. We're all striving for that 100% close. And until we're there, we're not done. So I don't care if you're the greatest salesperson in history. If you didn't close 100%, you've got room for improvement. So we always talk about, well, if you had the same people that you talked to last year, a second chance at those folks, would you do better this time? And most people say, oh my gosh, I wish I could talk to those folks again, because I definitely would make some sales from those folks that said no last time. And the idea is to not miss those, but find a partner, find someone that can help you really squeeze as much out of every opportunity that you possibly can, so you don't miss any along the way. So it doesn't mean that you want to have 6, 7, 8, 9 people working on the project unless it's appropriate. There are times when we brought 3 or 4 or 5 people into a project to close one particular type of a sale, and it was what was necessary. And there are times that you'll be able to do it independently, but those should be the ones that are just really, really easy. And what I can say is that other times when you follow the process appropriately, it feels like it was an easy sale. But the reason it felt easy is because you were practiced, drilled, rehearsed. You found the process to be something natural. You delivered it well. And it was just a really well done job. You did a spectacular job of following the process. It wasn't easy, but it felt easy. And so you find yourself in a position where your odds are improving simply because you're in that routine of doing things right. A good point here is about multiple sources. When you involve a second person or a third, it can really change the perspective on your organization and for the person, the prospect, the one that you're trying to sell a product to or someone that you're trying to bring into your business, they start to see things a little differently. About a month ago, we talked about trust and trustworthiness and how important that is. And there's some psychological aspects. And if you haven't seen that episode, I recommend you go back and check it out. But ultimately, it's about increasing confidence. And when somebody sees more than one person, they start to view the organizational strength and they feel the support system. And they realize, you know what, if I do join this looks like it's a more robust company. There's more than just one person telling me something. If I do join the business and try to be a producer, then there is a support system. I see it currently working from the other side of the table. Of course, the flip side of that is reducing doubt. And to get someone to move forward, if they're confident and they have no doubt, then they're going to say yes. And so reducing doubt is important. And psychologically, when people see consistent information from multiple sources, it's more believable. And so they have a reduced amount of doubt. And just the mere fact that they keep hearing the same thing in repetition, especially from multiple sources, then the doubt is reduced even further. So Joel, if you want to talk about choosing wisely, I know this is one of your fortes. Take it away.
Go ahead, click away. Yeah, the when you're deciding who you're going to bring on to this meeting, to this 2-to-1 presentation or phone call, you have plenty of choices now, right? You can use somebody in your upline. You can use obviously somebody in your downline. You can also use somebody like we talked about earlier, somebody that is part of the organization and may not be part of your group, your upline or downline, and you may not be benefit directly from each other. But anybody that is qualified in the organization to help, and many companies will offer corporate help, obviously. But if not, this group right here, I see many of the same faces over and over again, right? We talked about on the assumptions, the first meeting or training that we did, we talked about joining forces with people like-minded, right? So even if the people in this group, even if you guys were not sponsored by the same person, were not recruited by the same person, maybe you're not in the same downline, it doesn't mean you cannot work together to help each other to grow your business. So the more you can help each other, and that's why these meetings that you go to on these this big national meeting that you just went to, Jason, the first thing he said was, man, everybody's fired up, everybody's excited, a lot of things happening, because when you have that group effect, that fire, it really, really can help a growing organization. So when you're choosing that person that's going to help you, you have a lot of opportunity and a lot of choices. Now you got to then decide who is the best candidate for this situation, right? Is it, Matt, if you don't mind going back to the previous slide, I think Jason wanted to take a picture of it, but
thanks.
So am I good? Let's say Jason is my upline. Well, is Jason the best person that I can bring to this particular meeting because of the reasons that we're going to talk about in just a second? Is it the downline? It doesn't have to be somebody that sponsor me or is above me. I mean, how many people are coming to business 5 years later and they grow their business faster and bigger than their upline, right? So, or have more experience or have other points of view. So again, you have plenty to choose from. Choose wisely. Now, what are the essentials? What are you looking for when you're going to pick somebody to, and this is what Doug was talking about earlier. So that's why we mentioned earlier that maybe you should do the presentation, because he actually was talking about these essentials parts of who am I looking for to bring to this meeting. Well, number one is we want to find somebody that has commonality with the prospect. Matt, if you don't mind putting those three up there. You want to look for, does my third party, the person I'm going to use, my tool, I'm going to call them, do they share any similar motivations with my prospect? Would they sign up in the business, or did they sign up in the business because of the same motivating factor, right? And for example, let's say the reason for me joining the business was because I wanted to take control of my time. Right? I come from a corporate world working 60, 70 hours a week, and I could never even plan a vacation because when I plan it, they cancel it last minute. There's always something. They're always controlling my time. Well, if your upline was a successful doctor or businessman or owner of a company, but was always tied up with business and never had time for the family, and the reason they joined wasn't because of money, it was because of that control of time. Now you have a shared motivation, right? Now we have similar interests, and that's the person I'm going to want to bring into my conversation, because they're able to talk from a perspective and from experience. Do they have the same history, same background, same demographic? Jason gave us a story of, I think it was African, right, Jason? You had somebody from Nigeria, right?
I did my tailor.
Yeah, and you call somebody that came from Nigeria, and it was instant commonality.
I
right?
did, yep.
So do they share the same background, same demographic, the same story?
Yes, they do.
If they have that common motivator, then that person can speak heart to heart. And we already talked in the previous meetings, how important is that emotional connection? So if you can bring somebody to do it for you, why not? Matt, you want to take over the next one?
Sure. So having an authority figure obviously is really key, and that's someone that the person who's your prospect has to respect. When that person speaks, they have to be authentic. In other words, they've got to be someone who is true to themselves, that will share their story because it's true, and they're going to share it in a heartfelt way because they're trying to help that person see the success that they can have. Secondarily, they have to be successful. Nobody's going to follow someone who is struggling in the business, and so you want to find someone who has some numbers behind what they're going to say. And then finally, I think this is probably, if I had to pick one of these three, I'd pick inspirational as the most important, because usually someone who has the ability to light the fire within somebody else, they don't necessarily have to be successful in that particular business, but they're going to be someone who, in general, gives someone the feeling that they can do it. And one of the reasons that while, I wish I were, involved in the business that you have, it just doesn't, operate in Florida. I feel that with Joel and I coming on here, we can inspire those folks that aren't in an area where they can do the business to go get it done. So while I don't have any numbers to show you that are stream numbers, what I can say is that, you have a terrific operation, and having had the success that, Joel and I have had in other aspects of sales, that we're able to speak to somebody in a way that will get them to actually go and do something. And to me, that's the biggest part of inspiration. You can make somebody feel good, but if they don't do anything about it, then nothing really comes of it. It's fun for that 5 or 10 or 15 minutes or half an hour while the communication is happening, but then there's no result. And so to really find someone who can truly inspire somebody to take action, we talk about that all the time. It's one of our assumptions, that you're doing something now every single day. You want to find someone who really has the ability to get into somebody's, shall we say, heart and soul and make a difference such that they actually take action. And that's someone who is going to be willing and able to help you. You don't want to have to pull somebody's teeth in order to get them to help you. You want somebody who's excited to get involved and wants to participate in your success and says, hey, call me anytime, I'm there to help you. Someone who's excited about the prospect of helping you get someone else into the business, or save some money, or find some freedom and things like this. I think the selection, if you have maybe 3 or 4 folks that you might think about going to, is pick that one person that you believe will be truly empathetic to the situation at hand. You know that you've done an assessment and you have the information about what the prospect's concerns are, what their motivators are, what their objections are. And if you know that there's one of your go-to third parties that has had a similar situation, then they're much more able to be empathetic to that situation. But you have to prepare these folks to be ready to speak to that. And so ultimately, the next and final part of it is that the person who's going to help you, that third party that's going to come on the call or do the visit with you or the home sit, the person who's going to work as your teammate, they have to understand your expectations. And so you need to communicate with them in advance and make sure that you're both on the same page, such that you're not stepping on each other's toes, but instead you're having a great dance in concert that is going to be really a great experience, rather than something that seems to be a little awkward. So a little preparation goes a long way when it's time to actually perform in front of your guest, in front of your prospect. So, Joel, if you want to throw in anything on that, great. Otherwise, I'll move on, my friend.
Yeah, no, I think I love what you said about inspiration. Motivation and inspiration are two different things, and motivation is temporary. Inspiration lasts a lot longer. So if you can have somebody that can really inspire and touch the heart and the spirit of your guest and your prospect, it makes a big difference. It makes people move. Like we always talk, we always and you saw it on these slides as well, we always start with the why. Why do we do what we do, right? So when you're preparing, like the first step, you're preparing with purpose. You got to know why you're doing what you're doing, and the person who you're using needs to know also as well. And yeah, if they can be empathetic to the situation, if they can put themselves in the client's shoes or guest shoes, I mean, it makes it a lot easier. So agreed 100%, Matt. Next slide.
You know, I would say this, on understanding your expectations, you need to be very upfront. You need to say, folks, hey, here's the trouble I'm having. I need you to do this with and for me. This is the struggle I'm having. Or I need you to accomplish this one specific little thing. You can tell them, you know, hey, that story you told about XYZ in the past, that story is perfect for these folks. And clue them into how to help you best. You may say, look, I think we have a sale here. I just can't close it, and I need your help closing the sale, so please don't leave me hanging. Ask them to buy, right?
Yeah.
If that's been a discomfort for you or something that you tried and haven't succeeded at yet. So
yeah, and for some reason, Matt, people have they have a hard time closing the deal when it's somebody that is related to them sometimes, or a close family or friend. They don't want to feel pushy, right? But they don't have a problem asking for the sale or somebody that is a stranger, you know, and getting the deal. And that happens for other people. Some people is the other way. Some people is to their family and friends. They don't care, you know, going for it and asking for the deal. But when it's somebody that they don't have a close relationship to, they back off because they, again, don't feel comfortable or ready to ask for that deal. So if you're having that issue, you gotta set the expectations right. And Jason, I'm having issues closing we gotta get these people. We gotta create some urgency, help me here, and then Jason or the upline or the downline or whoever you're bringing in, be prepared to use their story and tweak it in a way that creates that urgency to call for action today. So use it wisely. Very, very important, man.
Cool. And we'll save all the closing stuff for another day, but that just reminded me about so many things that can be time sensitive, and we'll get to that a little bit at the end of this, but preparing for the best is important. So you got to prepare yourself mentally. You got to prepare yourself with the knowledge and everything that goes along with making a sale. But ultimately, don't forget that you have to prepare your prospect. You don't want to blindside your prospect with all of a sudden a third party who in their mind might have been listening in and eavesdropping. And then all of a sudden you say, oh, by the way, Joel, Jason's on the call. So Jason, say hi. And they're like, what the heck? They feel violated. It cannot be done that way, or you've lost all trust and credibility with that person.
Yeah, and if you remember, Matt, a few weeks ago, I gave the story of somebody that was trying to recruit me into their business and blindsided me with, hey, Joel, hey, I have Colton on the line. I'm going to call Colton. Give me a minute. And I didn't know they were bringing somebody else. They never let me know that, right? Mm-hmm. So now, I mean, I was uncomfortable the entire time. So that is very important. You got to prepare your prospect. If you don't mind putting the clicking, Matt, so we can see you got a reference when you're talking to your prospect. You got to make sure you let them know, hey, if it's a three-way call, you got to let them know, and you got to tell them who that third party is and get them a little bit familiar with that third party already. You want to praise them. You want to build up your third party. There's a reason why in every business meeting that you go to in your business, before the speaker comes up, somebody gives an intro about the speaker and they let you know who they are. There's a reason why you go to a doctor's office and the doctor has their certificates and their titles and all the different certifications that they have done. They have it there so that when you're sitting in the waiting room or in the office, you can see that this doctor knows what he's doing, because you don't want to feel you're the first one they're going to do surgery on, right? So you want to praise that third party. You want to make sure that you build them up, you edify them, so that your prospect really respects them and admire them already without knowing them, right? You have to justify. You got to let the prospect know why you're doing what you're doing, right? if you're here, if you're going to bring a third party to support, listen, I'm going to bring Matt on the phone. And the reason is because Matt and you were in the same situation, very similar. And that's somebody you can relate to. So you got to let them know, you got to justify the reason you're bringing a third party. Next, Matt, you got to obviously set the appointment. Make sure that when you set the appointment, you got to stress that, and this is going to build value and urgency, that if we make the appointment, you got to commit to it. It's going to make it happen. No matter what, we're going to be there, because we cannot be wasting Jason's time. We cannot be wasting Matt's time. We cannot be wasting the prospect's time, right? And you may not want to say those words that I'm saying, but that's the urgency you want to build. That meeting is the most important moment that day. That is the most important time for that person. You need to make them feel that way. And if you do that and you build that urgency, the expectation will be great. And of course, you got to be enthusiastic when you're talking about your business. We get excited, as you can see. When I speak, we get excited. You got to be that excited. Matt?
So that's the prospect side. When you're preparing your third party, your partner in this endeavor, make sure that you're taking enough time in advance to share the assessment. The more they know about the person that they're going to be speaking to and the potential of them saying certain things or feeling a certain way, the better job they're going to be able to do for you. So make sure you take enough time. It's not just, hey, I'll call you at 7:30 and then just do your thing. Prepare them for who they're going to be speaking to. Okay? You want to communicate, in particular, any objections that you're already aware of, so that they can have in their mind a way of overcoming those, or even more importantly, speaking to the topic of the objection and eliminating it before it arises. Because if it's something that's said in a story and all of a sudden it eliminates the objection that was pre-existing that you knew about, that person then may not bring it up again because it has been overcome in their own mind. Remember, you will not overcome the objection. The person with the objection will decide to release it and make it invalid and unimportant. They will overcome their own objection with enough information such that they feel like they're making the right choice and it's no longer an objection to them. And then, of course, communicating the motivators. Okay, this is exactly what we're talking about when we're saying, hey, I want you to speak to this point. This person is similar to you because they both really love their kids and don't get to spend enough time with them. Or they've struggled their whole lives and they really just want to escape that routine of the 9 to 5 and working overtime and barely paying the bills and working paycheck to paycheck. And so I know you've been there and you've escaped that. And so this is where those folks are in their lives. And my gosh, I just have to let you know that, because that's why I'm asking you to be on this call. And then setting expectations, just again, we talked about that previously, so I don't want to beat a dead horse, but let the third party know, let your partner know what you want them to do. Just speak openly, have a plan of attack, your plan of approach. Okay? Make sure that you're both on the same page so that you're not talking over each other. Okay? In some situations, people have code words and code phrases, and like, as an example, Joel and I, you'll notice when we do these things so that we're not talking over each other all the time, I'll say, and any opinion, Joel? He knows that I'm done. It's ready for him to start speaking. And in particular, when you're dealing with a third party, you have to have that set up such that you're not interrupting the story or the approach or that special statement and ruining the mojo. And so don't just have something to say and want to jump in. You've got to bide your time. It's like, I don't know, I love to use sports analogies. Not everybody on this call might be a sports fan, but I think we've all seen the difference between, soccer players that are very, very youthful, all trying to chase the ball. And then you take a look at soccer players who are professionals and they're spread out all over the field. They know where to play. They know when their time and their place is. And the play seems to be much more expert. So bide your time, have a plan, have your strategy set, and make sure you keep playing in your position. Don't run into each other, knock each other over, and lose the ball. And then finally, anyone who's going to do you this service, I think deserves some thanks in advance. You want to pump them up for the opportunity. If it's your upline, remember, hey, there's a little bit of juice in this for you too. You know, we're all working together. We're the same team. And of course, if it's someone who's elsewhere in your organization, it's just about saying thank you so much and really showing that you genuinely appreciate the person taking the time to make the effort for you. It's going to inspire them a little more to do a great job for you. You want to comment on that at all, Joel?
I want to comment on two things on that list. First, about giving thanks. A lot of people mess this up, and it is important for you to appreciate the people that are helping you. One of the worst things that you could do is not appreciate your upline or people that are or mentors or people that are helping you. And what will happen is you can ruin that relationship. I mean, if you're not thankful, if you're not appreciative, and you don't show that, people won't want to help you. You know, people have feelings. People are people. People are human, right? So you gotta make sure that you're taking care of your upline, that you take care of your downline, that you take care of your mentors and your team members that are helping you out. You gotta do it. If you don't show appreciation, if you don't show a thanks, I just did a special project that is kind of like my responsibility. It's not something that is out of my scope of what I'm supposed to be doing, but the person that I work with to do it has told me 400 times, man, Joel, I appreciate you from my heart, man, and send me a text message an hour later. Thank you for taking the time. And I'm thinking inside, you don't have to be thanking me because it's kind of like what I have to do, right? But it feels so good that you're feeling appreciated. So make sure that you don't ruin those relationships. About the sharing the assessment, this is a key, a very important part of choosing the right person. Let's say I'm asking Matt. Let's say Matt is my upline or mentor or anybody. And I ask Matt, hey, we're going to have a phone call with Jason. Okay? There's a prospect. Let me share with you what I have found with my conversations with Jason. And Matt says to me, don't worry about it. Just get me on the call. I will automatically say, okay, I appreciate it, and then send him a text message and say, hey, Matt, don't worry about it. That's not going to go through. I'll let you know if I need you, and I'm going to find somebody else. Because if the person is not taking their time, 5 or 10 minutes, to be prepared and to know what your prospect needs, wants, and is going to move them, then that phone call is not be as effective. And sometimes, and this I'm talking now to people that are mentors and are uplines that are helping your group. Sometimes we, because of time or we're in a hurry, we do this. And I've seen it many times. And think about it. A downline says, hey, again, I'm going to use Jason as an example. Jason, I need your help with Maria. This is what's happening with her. And Jason goes, hey, Joel, hey, listen, that's cool. I can't do it right now. Call me, put me in the call, and tell me in front of her. If Jason said that to me, what I would say to Jason is, Jason, you got to take the time to prepare. You got to know, because the information I'm going to give you is only going to help us do a better call, right? And if they're not willing to take the time to take that assessment, then move on and get somebody else. Is key. It's important that you give them that information. Matt?
No, I think that's well said. So let's talk about the transfer. So when you actually are in that meeting or on that call, how do you go about getting the third party involved? Okay, so let's say I'm talking to Joel, and he's my prospect, and I want to get Jason's assistance, and he's going to be on the call. Joel is aware that he's going to be there today because we made the appointment. And now we're all on the phone. I'm going to make some casual introductions. Hey, Joel, just thanks for being here again today. I know that we're taking some of Jason's very valuable time, and I wanted to introduce him to you. So, Jason, say hi, brother. And then,
hey, how you doing?
I'm going to say hi, and then there's some nice things I'm going to say now. I'm going to let Jason do most of the talking here, because he knows a whole heck of a lot more about this than I do. But I just want to tell you, he is an amazing, amazing part of this company. And quite frankly, I'm just blessed that we're able to get some of this time today, because being one of the top producers in the company, you can imagine he has a lot of important things to do. And one of those is not necessarily helping a little guy like me. So man, I got to tell you, for someone that has helped so many hundreds of people in this business and been such a top producer for so long, it's a blessing. So I want to keep it short. You tell the story a lot better than I do, Jason. So quite honestly, the reason I asked you to get on the call with Joel today is I know that you're both from good, hardworking families, and you grew up with single parents, and you know how the struggle that they went through. And I'm talking to Joel, and I thought, my God, this is almost like deja vu. And quite honestly, Jason, you're just the guy. So could you please, man, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, no problem, Matt. Thank you for having me on. Hey, Joel, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Jason. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Where are you from, Joel?
I'm from Puerto Rico, but no one's perfect.
I love it. I love it. Tell me about yourself. You have any kids? You married? Family?
I'm perfect. And now Jason's going to go through a little discovery, and then he's going to go to his speech, right? And he's going to use his pitch is going to be based on the assessment, on the information I gave him about the assessment Matt had with me. That's why it's important, because now Jason's questions are going to be guided based on the information that Matt gave him about me on the previous phone call, on the assessment.
Yes, and so basically, I'm keeping my role very, very short. I'm going through the casual introduction, the praise, and the reference of the situation in 30 to 60 seconds. I mean, it's not time for me to perform. It's time for me to set the stage so that the expert, my third party, can take over and do the job that needs to get done. Joel?
Yeah. One mistake that many people do, and trust me, it's a mistake, is they praise the prospect. And they do, and on the introduction, they spend 5 minutes telling the upline or the third party how great the prospect is. And if you see on this list, we didn't include that. We only included praise your upline, praise your third party, the person that is going to help you. You don't need to create a sense of that the prospect is somebody that needs to be respected and is amazing and is great, because what that does, it gives the prospect the sense of, I'm the man. I don't need you, you need me. And that actually will work against you on that urgency, right? Imagine if I'm bringing Jason to help me with Matt. Imagine if Jason is going to be my upline. He's the one that's going to help me close the deal. And I start the conversation, Jason, this is Matt. Matt, this is Jason, say hi to each other. And then I go, Jason, Matt is a friend of mine for many years. He's a Stanford graduate, has like 2 degrees. He's one of the most intelligent people I've ever met. He was vice president of a big .com company in California, and has developed training seminars and programs for big organizations, a few Fortune 500 companies. The guy has produced millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in business, What Matt is feeling now, hell, I'm the man.
Keep going. It all sounds great.
I don't need this freaking business. I'm the man. You should be asking me for help. So you, in your transfer, we do not praise the prospect. We praise our third party, our upline, the person who's going to help us, and we're going to keep it short. I promise you, it's going to work against you if you do it the other way. I think we're almost done here, so we can open for questions, right?
Yeah, we're down to the close. And so ultimately, these are the questions that have to be asked. When is the best time to attempt the close? Okay, and we'll do a whole session on closing. It's one of my favorite things to do. But I'd love to know what people think the answer to this is. So put the answer in your head, and then I'll hit the button here. When's the best time to attempt the close? Always be closing. It might seem cliche, but the opportunity will suddenly appear. And if you keep poking at it, eventually you'll see the opportunity open. Okay, you have to be patient. It's like little tiny pokes, poke, 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 poke. Eventually you'll poke through and you'll have what you want. Okay, but if you try to smash something, then all of a sudden it is not going to work the way you would like. If your timing is wrong, goodness gracious, it can just really derail the whole thing. So be patient, but always be aware that the opportunity is in front of you, and keep testing it. Keep taking the temperature. When the temperature is right, take it out of the oven. Okay? Who should be attempting? The third party. You've brought in this authority figure. The authority figure should have the ability, when they're having a conversation with your prospect, to really be able to say, now, doesn't that make sense? It seems like, we're two peas in a pod. You should do this. Are you ready to get started? Okay. If that opportunity arises, your third party should close that for you. And if that's not happening because time has gone on, maybe the opportunity doesn't really arise, you're the one that's on the hot seat now. It's now your time to step up and close that deal. So after the third party is done, if the third party has not closed it for you, don't quit and give up and say, well, I guess we couldn't get it done. Now it's time for you to recap, re-solidify, and figure out a way back in. You may be able to close it that day. I believe that you can. If not, then keep working at it, because it's not a no until it's still a no. Anytime you get a no, ask again. And if it's no, then find out why it's a no, and figure out how to turn a no into a yes. And if it's not a yes yet, a little more time go. And if it's close to a yes and it's just a tiny little no, then goodness gracious, what's holding you back? It seems like ask people how you can earn their business. It's one of the best things to ask somebody. How can I earn your business? How can we make this work? How can I give you the support you need? How can we make this happen? Let them solve their own problem. Let them turn their own no into their own yes through a series of intelligent questions in a closing sequence. So that's for another day when we've got another half hour, 45 minutes. But Joel, if you want to throw anything into the closing section, otherwise we'll go to Doug and Q&A.
No, I am really proud that we finished in 43 minutes. So we trying to keep it under an hour. Huh, Jason?
Yes, you did great. I'm sorry I took up 4 minutes trying to get on the laptop.
Well, let's open it for questions and answers. We have the chat little chat, so you can ask questions through there.
If anyone has any questions, let's ask them really quickly so we can get on to Doug. And I just have a couple closing things I want to add.
Yeah. If not, start with the closing things, or bring Doug on the call.
Okay. I'll start the closing things. For those of you that were at Ignition, for those of you that weren't, you guys know that Bouncer Shiro, our CEO, is one of only 10, I should say, CEOs that was invited to the White House to meet with the Energy Commission about deregulation and spreading this cross-country. There were 2 states that they focused on, and those 2 states happen to be Nevada and Florida, where Joel and Matt are. That's very big. Florida and Nevada will be a huge add-on to our 10 already energy states, but the whole plan is to take these 2 states and add more states and more states, to eventually we're in all 50 states, including Puerto Rico. So very excited about that Bouncer was part of that group. Also, I know you heard about cutting the cord. 5G is coming. This T-Mobile and Sprint merger is a done deal. This thing is happening. When it does, it's going to bring us 5G. What's that also going to bring us? In-home internet and in-home streaming cable, 2 additional services. So guys, you got to start thinking about nationwide, regardless of deregulation, because of this service right here. And there is no doubt internet will be just as big as electricity has been for us. Coliseum Megaplex, backed by popular demand. You guys wanted this back. It's back. Starts this Thursday. Make sure you bring your family, friends, your coworkers, neighbors, anybody you can. Throw them in the trunk. Get them out here to see the presentation. And for your new folks, they're going to love the add-on to the end. We're going to be offering about a 45-minute segment of training and how to get these people off to a fast start. So we're very excited about that. And last but not least, our next episode of Matt and Joel, which will be April 29th at 9 p.m. And this will be our 7th episode. It's hard to believe. We're just kind of blowing through these. If you missed an episode or two, or maybe this is your first time, go back on Team Freedom page, the actual page, and scroll through there. Every episode's in there. And if you can't find it, just reach out to me. I'll find them for you, or I'll find them and tag your name in it. And if you're not on Team Freedom, request to be on. I'll put you on, because I know a lot of other teams are starting to broadcast this call too. It's very beneficial. Again, thank you, Matt and Joe, for it. Do we have any questions yet? Any of them roll through the chat?
Nope.
No? Okay. Without further ado, we're going to bring Doug Vendetta on so we can close this thing up before 10 o'clock. We've promised a lot of people we're going to keep this down to 1 hour, and that's what we plan to do, so we can keep people on without having them jump off. Doug, you're around. Doug Vendetta.
Hey,
can we? There you
yeah,
go.
Jason?
Hey, Doug. Yeah,
there
man.
we go.
Hey, Doug.
Hey, guys,
all right.
You did a great job.
Well,
it was awesome.
Yeah. I just want to kind of edify you, just like we were taught there by Matt and Joe, right? Hey, guys, this is Doug Vendetta. He's in financing. He's a managing director with our company up from the Rochester area. This happened to be his first ignition experience. He's coming away fired up, even more fired up than what he already is. He's very excited, and he went to work immediately with that brand new app they just launched, and then started getting appointment after appointment after appointment. I said, Doug, what a perfect time to have you on this call and share with what's going on, because of the fact we're talking about using third-party credibility. So without further ado, I want to turn this over to Doug so he can teach us all how this tool has been working for him. So go ahead, Doug.
Hey, everybody. Again, this is Doug Vendetta. Thanks, Jason, for inviting me out to the call tonight. Guys, this app is incredible. It's got a lot of tools in there. I probably haven't put them all to work yet, but I've made a couple contacts. A couple were cold contacts. Like Jason said, you can make a friend out of anybody. I made that friend. I got their number. I sent them the first video I've been sending is the Steve Fisher video. It's getting great feedback. You can watch like they showed at Ignition. As soon as someone watches that video, you get a message. You know that they watched it, or maybe they've only watched 10%, 20% of it. I had one person that only did watch about 10% of it, unfortunately. But I responded right away, sent her a video and a message that said, hey, here's a story of some people that are having great success. Let me know what you think. The other people that are watching the other videos are still getting a response immediately from me, because you're getting those immediately getting a message. I don't want to waste any time and let them sit idle. The first person that hit it, they hit it within a few minutes of me sending it. I saw they did it. I responded, asked them if they had any questions, and when was a good time to chat with them. They happen to be in Texas. I've got a conference call with them tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. They're working 2 jobs. They work full-time. They're driving an Uber. Actually, it was an Uber driver that I met on Friday night. And, he seemed to be pretty excited about the opportunity to make some extra money. I've got another person I met in Texas over the weekend at Ignition that's leading. Again, she only watched 20% of the video, though. She also responded pretty quickly.
Time out. I have a question.
Yeah.
How did you know she only watched 20 seconds or 20 minutes of the video?
It gives you the percentage. So when you get that message that says, Susie or Johnny saw your message and saw the video, it tells you the percentage that they watched of that particular video.
Get out. So you know that if somebody watched the entire video, that's obviously somebody you want to reach out to, right? Now,
right away.
You don't want to leave anybody out. You probably want to reach out to other people. But if somebody reached out to a whole one, the whole video, don't wait until tomorrow. Reach out right away, as Doug just mentioned.
And that's what I did. I reached out right away, asked for the appointment, got it, and then sent them a story. One of the stories of, the success stories that are on that app that are easy to share. He immediately went in and after asking for the call, let's go back a second. After asking for the appointment and setting up the conference call, I saw he was in there looking again. So that's when I sent him the story. And I saw him look at that.
Let's stop right there. Let's talk about that for a second. Now, how can you see him look around in there? Tell us a little bit about that.
Again, you're gonna get a message when he's looking at that second message. So once he looks at any message and or video, you're gonna get a reply to the app that he has seen that video, or he's playing around and looking at your app. So
really,
what I did is after I asked for I initially sent this first gentleman the Steve Fisher video, saw he was in there, immediately asked for the appointment because I saw he watched the whole video. He agreed to the appointment, said Monday or Tuesday, which is better for you. Set it up for Tuesday at 2 o'clock. After that, I saw he was in there looking around again. I sent him one of the stories. Said, "Hey, Jesse, hope you're having a great day. I sent here's another video to take a quick look at." Saw he looked at that immediately. Later today, I suggested just want to confirm our 2 o'clock appointment for tomorrow, and I actually sent him my link where he will actually sign up. Take a look at this, Jesse. It's a link, my personal link. See if you have any questions, jot them down, and we can address them tomorrow with Jason. Jason, you're doing that call with me tomorrow. So now I've already prepared him for the close, which will be having him sign up through my link.
So he went on. He watched the entire video. You booked the appointment. Then you were able to see him going back in and looking around. You then sent him another video of somebody, a credibility story.
Right.
What is it? Which one did you send him?
I don't remember which one I sent him, actually, to be honest with you. It was one of the success stories.
Okay, which there's a ton of them, of all different types of people.
There's a ton of them
in our company.
And
if you haven't reviewed them, you should get used to different people so you can mirror match them, right? If you have somebody that's a real estate agent or a school teacher, and you know this person's a real estate agent or school teacher, why not send them a video of somebody giving their success story that's in that same field? This is powerful tools. I'm loving it. Continue, Doug.
Exactly. So after I confirmed the appointment, the last thing I've sent him is my link. My link is where he's going to go in and actually sign up and become an associate. So now when we ask him for a close tomorrow, he's going to be familiar with that. I told him to jot down any questions he has on that. So when we ask and send that to him, he's not going to be frightened and, intimidated and not know what he's doing. He's going to already have an understanding of the page, know it's coming, and be comfortable with it. And I feel like it's going to make it an easier close for this.
Absolutely. He's watched the video. He's looked around. He's now on your website. He's made a commitment to an appointment. We'll see from the appointment where that goes. And eventually, I'm sure within due time, you'll have yourself a new associate. What I also love about this, gang, is not only will you have a new associate, but guess what you just taught them? You just taught them how to do it. You just taught them what Doug did. And now he's going to go or she's going to go and do the same exact thing. So monkey see, monkey do business. We don't reinvent the wheel. We just kind of follow in the same system.
I want to mention here. It's very interesting about what Doug has done. He's also been prompt. And I can't say enough about how being attentive to your business is really important. I know a couple of people who are being co-hosts for a resort here in town, and they're presenting inventory on Airbnb, just to give you an example. And one of the guys is not as responsive as the other, and one of the guys has about 6 times the success of the other person, because he doesn't leave it to be a response that he gives within 24 hours. He gives a response within minutes because he's attentive to his business. And it's very clear that Doug is attentive to his business. If you want to be someone who's successful to that degree, there's no doubt that you have to be very timely in your responses. It says so much about how that business is going to run, not only for you, but for the person that you're trying to bring into the business. So Doug, great job on being Johnny on the spot. Hugely important.
Yeah, and guys, just to talk about the app a little bit. I spend 4,000 or 5,000 minutes a month on my cell phone. Doesn't include the probably 100 emails, probably 30, 40, 50 text messages every day. So I'm really busy at my job, and this was so easy. I saw the notification come in. I'm like, bam! I was able to take 30 seconds at my desk, respond, pick get familiar with the credibility videos and all the tools that are in there, so that when you see somebody hit that video, you know what you want to do next. And it depends on, and from what I've done so far, it depends on what their response is and how I'm going to respond. I had a lady that I sent the video to first thing this morning. She responded tonight and said she'll watch the video. I haven't seen her watch it, but as soon as I do, unless it's at 3 a.m., I'll respond immediately. And she'll probably be a cell phone. she's got 4 Sprint lines. You know, she's paying a couple $100, so she's a customer. There's no doubt about it.
Wow.
But yeah.
Well, speaking about this app, this third-party call, guys, let's go out there and work this for over the next 7 days. Let's start working this together as a team. And then on next Monday's call is a normal team call. Let's get on there and share testimonials. I want to hear from people on how this is working so that when the following Monday comes around and we have Joe and Matt on, at the end of our call, we can share our success stories with them as well and let them know how effectively this is all working for us. Speaking about Sprint and mobile, along with the call next Monday, I'm also going to touch a little bit on what I've been working on as far as the mobile side and how I'm going to purchase 4 phones and demo them out to the family. So definitely be on that call next Monday as well. But great call tonight, guys. Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, everybody, for being on. And again, we did it. It's 10 o'clock. We did it. 1 hour.
Hey, Jason. Jason, I have a question.
Love it.
Uh-huh.
I have a question. You said that you, next Monday on your normal call, so that you mean that Matt and I are not normal?
No, Matt, this is a special call, Joel. So this is special. It's kind of like,
yeah, but what do you mean by special?
Well, I don't mean.
I'm confused now.
Okay, I don't mean a small bus special. I mean like Hershey's Chocolate puts out that regular candy bar. Then they put out that special candy bar during Christmas time. That's you and that.
For some reason, I was offended, but now you made it better.
I have a way of doing that, man.
Have a great night, guys.
Jason, hey guys, just to add one thing. I know Jason talked about the meetings at the Coliseum. Get plugged into those meetings because, you know, as I met people this weekend for the first time from our team in Harrisburg and obviously on the national level at Ignition, you know, I got their stories. I knew that I've done this before in my own business, in the mortgage business. Sometimes that third-party credibility I'll have a coworker, my boss, somebody call a customer who I know I can get, but I just need that validation. But go and even if you don't have a guest this Thursday, get there to the meeting.
That's right.
Take some notes of the people you meet. So that if you need to talk to a person you got somebody you're sitting in front of a mortgage person, get them on the phone with me. You're talking to somebody that used to sell cell phones, get them on the phone with Jason.
That's right.
When you know people, the more people you know, and Jason said it before, sometimes the meetings need you and sometimes you need the meetings.
That's right.
So you plug into those because you don't know when they're going to help you. I'm probably going to get somebody on a prospect on the phone with Keisha later this week. I just know the personality is going to click. They're very, very similar in personality, great people, great personality, outgoing, friendly. It's going to give me that validation that I need. You know, they believe me, they trust me, but they need that validation. They don't have the confidence in themselves. But when you got 2 like people that come from similar backgrounds or similar work histories or whatever, now they instantly got a rapport, and that validation is not, well, Doug's saying I can do it. Well, when someone else has done it and they're hearing that this person's done it and they got something in common, it just validates it so much more. So get there to the meeting and, get those stories, make some notes, whatever you got to do to make sure that you remember who does what and use each other like that. It's going to be very powerful.
Doug, I love it, man. Back in October when you joined, into where you're at right now, it's amazing. It almost brings a tear to my eye. It's kind of like watching your baby take its first steps.
Thanks, brother.
Man. I love your leadership.
Thanks, brother.
And your commitment to this team. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, I love it. I'll be down to Harrisburg in the next couple of weeks.
Yes. Well, I'll see you for the MD experience in Philadelphia. But I want to get off this call before Sophia kills us.
Yep. All right. Good night,
I promised
everybody.
her 1 hour. All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Good night.